Today we're going to focus on the second New Deal. The second New Deal is just an extension of the first New Deal. If you remember, the first New Deal was a combination of programs that FDR passed as soon as becoming president, most of which were about 15 programs in his first 100 days as president. Well, the second New Deal, after everything started to work and some programs were more successful than others, Franklin Roosevelt decided a little bit more needed to be done. Um, so To further the New Deal, FDR he launches this second phase. He wanted to focus on more relief for farmers and workers and so forth. And First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt, who was a social reformer, helped with the movement. Um, Franklin Roosevelt will be reelected in 1936. If we remember 1932, he was elected. Later, he'll become the first president ever elected to more than two terms. So he'll win the 1932, 36, 40, and 44 election. Um, but for the first time, most African Americans united behind the Democratic Party, and it was largely because of FDR's efforts. Now, he did a lot to help the African American community, but there were still a lot of things he did not do enough of. As far as farms go, the AAA, they were trying to reward farmers for practicing soil conservation by not growing crops. The idea behind this was that if farmers did not grow crops, this would not lead to overproduction and the prices of farm goods would go down. Um, the Resettlement Administration gave loans to small farmers. Farmer Security Administration gave loans to tenant farmers to buy land. So once again, the government is giving more money to different people and different groups, and hopefully they're putting it back in the economy, and hopefully it's going to get the economy moving again. The Works Progress Administration helped create jobs. The government helped to create airports and railroads and public buildings, and women workers would sew clothes for the needy. The National Youth Administration, education, jobs, counseling. These are the type of things that they would focus on providing. The National Labor Relations Act, or Wagner Act as we know it, replaces the NIRA, which protects the right to join unions and collective bargaining and prohibited unfair labor practices. The Fair Labor Standards Act would set minimum hours and minimum wage so people couldn't be taken advantage of as far as wages go and hours. And so therefore, rather than working two people, each working 10 or 12-hour shifts for 40 cents, maybe they'd each work 8-hour shifts and make 60 cents an hour. So people are going to be paid more and more people have opportunity to work. Dr. Townsend had come up with a plan where people would be provided money for retirement. Franklin Roosevelt and the New Deal, or the Second New Deal, they take this idea and put it into practice, but with a little bit different conditions. Social Security would ensure retirees 65 and older. It would give unemployment compensation and aid to the disabled and families with children. So there's different groups that it did provide. If somebody was paid to retire at 65 years old, once you retired, you collect Social Security. Your job was then offered or available to other people. So if somebody who was unemployed would take your job, and not only that, you're making money, and you're going to probably put that money in some place in the economy. Um, the Rural Electrification Administration would bring electricity to farms, so they would pay people for working to get electricity out to rural areas. Next week, we're going to focus on how the New Deal started to affect many other groups.